Have you ever heard of a church that stays locked all year round, its doors only opening for one specific, terrifying reason? Today, we're delving into the chilling story of a chapel that's not for Sunday service, weddings, or baptisms. It's reserved exclusively for cases of alleged demonic possession. Deep in a secluded area, there's a small, unassuming chapel. From the outside, it looks peaceful, almost forgotten. But its history is anything but. Local legends and historical records tell us this place was consecrated for a singular purpose: to serve as a spiritual battleground. The church decided centuries ago that the process of exorcism was too intense and potentially dangerous to be performed in a public place of worship. The spiritual energy, the struggle, and the aftermath needed to be contained. So they built this chapel. Its walls are said to be reinforced not just with stone, but with relics, holy water, and continuous prayers. It's designed to be a fortress of faith, a place where a priest can confront dark entities without fear of the influence spreading to the outside community. Every inch of its architecture, from the specific saints depicted in the stained glass to the type of wood used for the altar, was chosen for its symbolic power in spiritual warfare. Imagine the scenes that have unfolded within those walls. The chapel is kept locked to maintain its sanctity and to keep the curious out. Only a select few hold the keys. When a case is deemed severe enough by the diocese, a small, specialized team is assembled. They don't just show up with a Bible and a cross. We're talking about a highly structured, almost medical process involving psychological evaluations to rule out mental illness first. Only when all scientific explanations are exhausted do they consider the possibility of the supernatural. Once inside, the atmosphere is described as incredibly heavy. The air is still, and a profound silence hangs over the pews. It's a place that has absorbed the energy of countless struggles between light and darkness. The rituals performed here can last for hours, sometimes even days, testing the faith and endurance of everyone involved. This isn't the dramatic, head-spinning stuff you see in movies. It's a grueling, emotionally and spiritually draining procedure. The chapel stands as a silent testament to a belief system that takes the existence of evil very seriously. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, the story of this locked chapel is a fascinating glimpse into the intersection of faith, fear, and the enduring human struggle against the shadows. What do you think? Could a place hold the echoes of such intense events? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more dives into the world's most mysterious places. What really happens in the Vatican after dark? Forget what you've seen in movies. We re-diving into a world far more mysterious and shrouded in secrecy. The real-life exorcisms performed by Vatican-trained priests. It's a practice that dates back centuries, and even today is very much alive. Now, you might be picturing spinning heads in green goo, but the reality is quite different. The Church takes this incredibly seriously. Before an exorcism is even considered, every possible medical and psychological explanation has to be ruled out. We're talking extensive evaluations by doctors and psychiatrists. Only when every scientific avenue is exhausted does the Church step in. The number of official exorcists is surprisingly small, and they're specially appointed by bishops. These aren't just random priests. They undergo rigorous training in theology, canon law, and even psychology to distinguish true possession from mental illness. The actual rite of exorcism isn't a chaotic battle of wills like in Hollywood. It's a solemn, structured liturgy. It involves prayers, blessings, the sprinkling of holy water, and commands in the name of God for the entity to depart. The focus is entirely on freeing the individual, not on a dramatic confrontation. It's a process of faith and ritual, often performed quietly, away from the public eye, sometimes in the dead of night to ensure privacy and reverence. It's a deeply spiritual and intense procedure, aimed at bringing peace to a tormented soul. So, why is it all so secretive? The Vatican's main concern is the well-being of the person involved. Publicizing these events could lead to sensationalism and stigma, which would be incredibly harmful. They also want to avoid fueling morbid curiosity or fear. This isn't entertainment. For the people involved, it's a desperate search for spiritual healing. The secrecy is a shield, protecting a sacred and deeply personal process. While the world speculates, the Church continues its ancient mission, quietly and steadfastly, in the shadows. It's a fascinating and complex topic that blends ancient faith with modern understanding. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the world's greatest mysteries. Have you ever heard a voice when no one was around? Well, there was a nun in the 17th century who claimed to hear more than just a voice. She said the devil himself was speaking to her. Meet Sister Maria Crocifissa della Concezione. She lived a quiet life in the Palma di Montechiaro convent in Sicily. But one morning in 1676, she woke up covered in ink with a strange coded letter beside her. Sister Maria told her fellow nuns that she had been possessed by Satan overnight, who forced her to write this message. For centuries, this devil's letter remained a mystery. It was written in a bizarre mix of ancient alphabets, a code no one could crack. Scholars and cryptographers tried and failed. Was it a genuine message from the underworld, or something else entirely? The letter sat in the convent, an unsolved puzzle, for over 300 years. Then, in 2017, a group of Italian computer scientists decided to tackle the challenge. They used a powerful code-breaking algorithm they found on the dark web. After feeding the software ancient Greek, Arabic, Latin, and Runic alphabets languages Sister Maria would have studied, the computer started to make sense of the jumbled text. So what did it say? The decoded letter was a rambling, somewhat incoherent text. It talked about God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit being dead weights, and claimed that God was invented by man. It was basically a long philosophical argument against religion. But was it really from the devil? The researchers have a more logical theory. They believe Sister Maria was a talented linguist who suffered from a mental health condition like schizophrenia. She likely created the code herself, perhaps during a dissociative episode, channeling her own internal struggles with her faith into this demonic letter. It's a fascinating story that blends history, mystery, and modern technology. A 300-year-old riddle, finally solved by a computer algorithm. It reminds us that sometimes the most frightening demons are the ones within our own minds. If you or someone you know is struggling, remember that reaching out for help is a sign of strength. What do you think? Was it a message from the devil or a brilliant mind in turmoil? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more strange stories from history. Have you ever wondered what secrets lie hidden within the ancient walls of the Vatican? For centuries, rituals and traditions have guided the Catholic Church, especially during one of its most critical moments, the death of a pope. But there's one ancient ceremony, a powerful and macabre ritual, that the Vatican no longer performs. It all revolves around the moment a pope passes away. In the past, the Cardinal Camerlengo, the Chamberlain of the Holy Roman Church, had the solemn duty to officially confirm the pope's death. But how he did it is the stuff of legends. He wouldn't just rely on a doctor's word. Instead, he would approach the deceased pope's bedside, call out his baptismal name 3 times, and receive no answer. Then came the most dramatic part. The Camerlengo would take a small silver hammer, intricately decorated, and gently tap the pope's forehead 3 times. This act, known as the Recognition, was the final definitive proof that the pope was truly gone. It was a symbolic gesture, confirming the end of one pontificate and the beginning of the sede vacante, the period when the papal throne is empty. Once the death was confirmed, the Camerlengo would break the fisherman's ring, the pope's personal signet ring, and shatter the die used to make his lead seals. This ensured no documents could be forged in the late Pope's name. This entire sequence of events was steeped in tradition, a somber and necessary process to transition power. So, why did it stop? The last pope to undergo this ritual was Pope Leo XIII in 1903. Since then, the practice has been quietly abandoned. Modern medicine made the hammer tap redundant. Official confirmation now comes from the Pope's physician. The Vatican, while deeply traditional, does evolve. With Pope John Paul II, the Camerlengo simply called his name and did not perform the tapping ritual. Today, the silver hammer is purely symbolic, a relic of a bygone era stored away. The Vatican's decision to discontinue this ritual shows a shift from medieval ceremony to modern procedure, closing the book on one of its most fascinating and eerie traditions. The shadows of the Vatican still hold many secrets, but the tale of the silver hammer is one that has finally been brought into the light. Thanks for watching. If you found this as fascinating as I did, don't forget to like and subscribe for more dives into hidden history. See you next time. Did you know the Catholic Church updated its exorcism rite back in 1999? It was the first major revision in nearly 400 years, and it brought some big changes, especially to the prayers used. For centuries, exorcisms were conducted entirely in Latin, a language believed to have a special power in spiritual warfare. But the new rite, titled De Exorcismis et Supplicationnibus Quibusdem, or of exorcisms and certain supplications, made some significant adjustments. One of the most notable changes was the removal of specific older Latin prayers that were quite confrontational. For example, the old rite included a prayer that directly addressed the demon, saying, "I adjure you, ancient serpent," and commanded it by name. These prayers were very direct, almost like a spiritual challenge. The modern rite, however, takes a different approach. It encouraged exorcists to use the vernacular, the local language, to make the prayers more understandable and accessible to everyone present, including the person afflicted. So what replaced these old Latin formulas? The new rite focuses more on petitionary prayers addressed to God, rather than directly to the entity. Instead of commanding the spirit, the priest now asks God for deliverance. The prayers are centered on the power of Christ's victory over evil, quoting scripture and invoking the intercession of the Virgin Mary and the saints. This shift reflects a theological change, emphasizing that it's God's power, not the priests or the Latin words themselves, that brings about healing and liberation. The old rite also included a prayer that listed various demonic titles and characteristics, almost like a profile of the enemy. This has been removed. The new guidelines are much more cautious, warning priests against entering into dialogue with the possessing entity. The focus is on prayer, the sacraments, and faith in God's power. While Latin can still be used if the priest finds it helpful, it's no longer mandatory. The Church's goal was to create a rite that is pastorally sensitive, theologically sound, and grounded in the authority of the Church, rather than ancient, intimidating formulas. So the dramatic Latin commands you see in movies are now mostly a thing of the past. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating insights. Have you ever wondered if there are symbols so powerful they were once forbidden? Ancient cultures believed certain signs held the key to controlling the supernatural, specifically to trap demons. Today, we're diving deep into the world of these mystical sigils and uncovering the secrets they held. Let's start with one of the most famous, the Seal of Solomon, also known as the Star of David. This hexagram wasn't just a religious symbol. In medieval grimoires, magical texts like the Lesser Key of Solomon, this symbol was inscribed on rings and amulets. It was believed to give the wearer the power to command demons and spirits, binding them to their will. Imagine holding a symbol that could supposedly compel a powerful entity to do your bidding. The legends say King Solomon himself used it to build his great temple with the help of summoned spirits. But not all symbols were about command. Some were purely for protection and containment. Take the magic circle, for example. This wasn't just a simple ring drawn on the ground. A proper magic circle was a complex diagram, often layered with divine names, planetary symbols, and other protective sigils. A magician would stand inside it for safety while performing a ritual. The circle acted as a barrier, a fortress of divine power that no demon could cross. It was the ultimate safe zone in a very dangerous practice. If the line was broken, even by a scuff of a shoe, the consequences could be dire. Then we have more intricate and specific designs, like the sigils from the Ars Goetia. This book lists 72 demons and provides a unique symbol for each one. These weren't just random squiggles. Each sigil was considered the demon's true name and essence in pictorial form. By drawing a demon sigil, a magician could supposedly focus their energy to summon and then bind that specific entity. These symbols were like a supernatural phone number, a direct line to a particular demon. The idea was to trap the demon within a specially prepared vessel, like a brass container, which was then sealed with these very symbols. From the powerful seal of Solomon to the protective magic circle and the specific sigils of the Goetia, these symbols were the essential tools of ancient demonology. They represent a fascinating intersection of belief, fear, and the human desire to control the unknown. Whether you see them as real tools of power or just relics of a superstitious past, their stories continue to captivate us. What do you think? Are these just stories? Or is there more to these forbidden symbols than meets the eye? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more journeys into the mysterious.